Welcome to The Mind, the Cure Protocol for August 4, 2026. We begin with what changed, not merely what was announced. One movement in this path has already reached care. The rest are research signals that could open the next path, but each still needs proof. We will start close to real people, then trace the evidence back to the targets and questions that matter next. This protocol is a living loop. People bring the questions that matter. Direct evidence changes the map. The source ledger remembers what we have already seen and checks the original date before calling it new. Every signal ends with one practical next action, the experiment, validation, collaboration, or care decision that could move it closer to real benefit. Adlai Nortye announced submission of a clinical trial notification and receipt of HREC approval in Australia for a first-in-human phase 1 study of AN4035, a first-in-class pan-RAS, ON, inhibitor antibody-drug conjugate designed to deliver RAS pathway suppression selectively to tumors while limiting systemic toxicity. For people within the stated indication, this is now a regulated care option. Treatment decisions still belong with patients and clinicians. Approval establishes regulatory status for the stated indication, not proof of superiority or the right choice for every person. Next, watch real-world uptake, safety, and outcomes within the approved indication. Akebia Therapeutics announced the start of a phase 2 basket trial of ebribafusp, a next-generation complement inhibitor, to test IgA nephropathy, lupus nephritis, and C3 glomerulopathy. If this holds up, it could give researchers a clearer target for the next experiment, validation step, or collaboration. The useful part is a clearer target, not a finished solution. Independent evidence still has to do the hard work. The next question is whether independent evidence confirms the finding and shows a responsible path toward real-world use. Altimmune announced initiation of PERFORMA, a global phase 3 registrational trial of Pemvidutide in patients with MASH. Following positive impact phase 2b data, the study will test fibrosis improvement, MASH resolution, and clinical outcomes. In the broader AIN disease context, this is another step in converting biology from empirical trial and error into a tractable engineering problem. Disease subtypes, response predictors, and endpoints increasingly define a search space that AI can help navigate, accelerating the phase transition from phenotype management to mechanism-directed intervention. If this holds up, it could give researchers a clearer target for the next experiment, validation step, or collaboration. The useful part is a clearer target, not a finished solution. Independent evidence still has to do the hard work. The next question is whether independent evidence confirms the finding and shows a responsible path toward real-world use. The practical read is simple. These are signals, not promises. But each one is a concrete target that researchers, clinicians, engineers, funders, and the people most affected can connect to a next step. Keeping the evidence visible is how the cure protocol stays current without pretending the work is finished.